ROBLOX.
Semuanya,
Today
kembali
we are
lagi
joined
bersama
by
David
Arvin
di sini.
KC, Chief People and
Dan
Systems
gue
Officer at
akan
ROBLOX, and Shobes Alawali, a
main
Chief
game ya, tapi
Information Officer at ROBLOX.
reaction
We are going to be talking about culture
Roblox
of
ya.
innovation, people and systems,
Kalau
and
batang
both the tech that forms the platform for how we work with our people system operating system, but also the human element that sits on top of it and our
lah,
value.
Apaan?
lagi.
Kenapa sih mati tuh? Habis suratnya.
Bentar guys, bentar.
Values and mission and how that comes together to drive a culture of innovation. Casey, great to be here. Shobes, great to be here. Thanks for joining me. This is kind of unorthodox, isn't it? We don't have a CHRO. We have a people and systems officer. Like, what's up with that, Casey? Can you share a bit about your background and how we came together?
Yeah, no, of course. First, great to be here, Dave.
Yeah.
And you're right. My background has always been in engineering
Udah
and
lu ke
products.
Robloxnya, weh.
And usually, what we find is excellence happens in the convergence of two things. And one convergence that both
Ada yang
of us
ngerti
were
gak
talking
bahasa Inggris?
about this is the convergence of technology and building the right organization.
Lu ke
And that's
Roblox.
what led to the genesis of this role of people and systems. So it's not about
Sebenarnya
just
ya
thinking about
guys,
how do we build our
Roblox
people and
itu
organization, but how do we make it last
untuk
so that it's not dependent on the
orang
people
yang
who crafted
baik
it,
ya,
and it
atau
constantly
anak-anak.
evolves. And systems is the part
Anak
of that
boleh
equation,
main
which
Roblox,
is usually
tapi
the
tahu
sales
waktu.
resource.
Kayak gue
Well,
gak tahu
about
waktu.
your role and complemented with Shobes.
Ya Roblox itu
We have all the traditional HR
untuk
functions. We
anak-anak
have
sih
HR,
sebenarnya.
we have recruiting, we
Mereka
have compensation, we
ya
have
tidak
talent, we
toksik
have information, we have
ataupun
systems.
slender,
You have a little
kecuali
bit of an
slender.
unorthodox past for that role, right? Because you came through,
Jadi
I believe, a
ya
Facebook
gak
trajectory,
tahu,
a
katanya
Palantir
saya
trajectory, a Google
iya.
trajectory, not as a CHRO, but much more as a systems person.
That's exactly right. In fact, prior to Facebook, I was building supply chain solutions. And it's at Facebook that I first started building products for the people space. And what I learned over there is that when I was doing that, building products for making better leaders and better managers, I got
To streamline things get to be created by you. So could
That's
you share
right.
a little bit of the CIO vision at ROBLOX?
So the vision here is to create frictionless experiences for our employees and builders so that they can be supercharged in productivity. And we look at it end to end from, let's say, hire to retire, end to end journey. And I look at it at both as process simplification and then adding systems on top of it. So building on what Casey was saying, the first step is how to have the best process.
Yeah.
And as an example for bureaucracy busting, we can look at do we have too many approvals or too much friction? That is not best. But then create those systems that can be so beautiful and well aligned and just at the right time. So that and a lot of technologies help with that today.
Okay, so we're gonna dive in and frame, like, some of the people who are watching this who might not work in a tech company are saying, what are all these systems? What are we talking about? So I'm gonna highlight a little bit of things around A, how we run the company, and then B, we'll talk very briefly about some of the systems, and then we'll get into it. So first, one of the things I think we've always been talking about for a long time at ROBLOX is this notion of how do we structure the company. And internally, we, in effect, run the company. We try to, as a set of smaller companies that have as much autonomy as possible, but at the same time come together at various levels. In our executive meeting, we have representatives of the 8 or 9 what we would call companies, and we work on all the horizontal connection, but try to see that autonomy. Could you share a little about this? This is almost like the design of the groups, teams, and pods of the company.
That's right. So it starts with at the lowest unit. What is a unit where we will get tangible work done without a lot of coordination headwinds? It tends to be the two pizza of something that is about a dozen or so people who can be focused on a mission and get something
Rekam
That's
video
the team.
YouTube
That's the pods.
adalah
A construct
disebut
above that is the
kamera.
teams, and a construct above that is a
Dan
group, and a
atau
construct above that is the company.
That's right.
So when we
manusia
look at it recursively,
kamera.
we set goals
Ya,
at the company level, which are shared across different groups. And then the groups take them and then convert them to their group specific objectives. And we think of each of these groups as having their own mini CEOs. And they cascade the same principles to teams who cascade the same principle to pods. Um, as engineers, we love recursion, so we
Can you
believe that
share for people out there what recursion means?
it is the same thing being repeated, being done at like multiple levels. So
That's
the
right.
idea that there is a set of routines that we would do at a company level, and the right subset of it just gets cascaded down, and you can examine any part of the company, and things happen in a very similar way. And that what does it help with more than the concept? What it really helps with is it makes sure that the communication horizontally and vertically is really fast and seamless. And that's kind of what we're trying to achieve is as we realize our ambitions and become a very big company, we don't want to lose the spirit of being a small company. And that's really what like recursion enables.
Yeah, and so this the recursion is really interesting to me because we can try to exercise in our literally our executive C-suite meetings similar patterns that are happening way down on a up and coming leader at what would be a pod level with 10 types of peoples. And one of the exciting things I think when we think about systems design is, and we'll start getting into that, when we build systems, we're actually talking about the dashboard for the executive team having some connection with the dashboard for a small team as well. So really excited about that. And then the other things as people think about the nitty gritty of what we're trying to build, there's a, when we think of the life cycle of a company, like you said, hire to retire, there's systems around recruiting people. There are systems around providing feedback. There are systems that we do as far as twice a year. Can you share just
jangan
some of
lupa
the,
di
when
subscribe ya
you
dan
think about
like
the
video
actual things
ini
we have to build
untuk
on
mencapai
top of that?
100
It's a complete
subscriber.
company, so
Yeah,
we're now
Oke.
building everything on one platform. We have Greenhouse for recruiting. We use Workday for core HR work and advanced com. We have several other systems when you look through the hire to retire framework. I think where we are unique and especially thoughtful is what do we want to build so it fits us so well so that it actually shapes our culture. And I think that's a very mature way of looking at it, and that's a very thoughtful way of looking at it. In this example, while we use, first of all, we connect all of those systems, but while we use Workday for several things, we have our own homegrown system
Nah,
called Program, which we use for
kita
performance
nonton
management.
that's right.
kucing
While the
Roblox ya.
performance management systems,
Eh,
but while we use Workday for several things, we
lima
have our
dua
own
lima
homegrown system,
delapan.
Program,
Udah tadi
which we use
lima
for performance
apa?
management.
That's right.
While the performance management process in the industry might not be the
Berapa?
best liked process, the system that we have is
Hmm,
actually well regarded in
nggak
the
mau
company
asik ya.
because we try to make it so unique to us. It follows our principles and our culture, and we try to make it lightweight on everybody involved.
That's it. Yeah, and so there's this super cool notion of what we're building in people systems where we are running Greenhouse, we're running Workday, we're running a bunch of other products. But when I right now go to our ROBLOX people system, technically, I hit this website that says ROBLOX operating system, and I never see those products. Can you share a bit how is it that I never see those products when I'm using the ROBLOX operating system?
Because we are able to skin the systems behind the scenes and
That's
we're able
right.
to extract the right information and
Ini
present it to the user.
lama ya
The
video
how should not
Robloxnya.
be as apparent to our builders,
That's right.
but the why and the what, the information should be there in a consumable way for them and right at their fingertips. And that's what we strive to do. There's a lot of there's data lakes behind the scene where we are
Yeah.
looking at systems and we're trying to get intelligence from systems
Jangan lupa
and
like
actually even
ya.
trying to get we've got a
Tembus
BSIA team.
like
Usually you don't have that
49 ya.
as many companies don't have that as part of the systems and people team,
That's right.
and they create this wonderful analysis of data. We convert it from zeros and ones, bits and bytes, to good to visualize data and then to real intelligence.
Yeah, so for everyone out there, when I'm using our Roblox operating system, technically, in addition to our vision, mission, and values, I can see all of the people in the company, the reporting relationships. I can also see the groups, teams, and pod type relationships, which is fantastic. I can it's fully transparent within the company. Managers also have access to a lot of analytics on top of that. Um, can you share a bit on the people science and analytics part that comes together under Roblox
Yeah,
ROS?
I think that's actually a significant differentiator for us. For the percentage of our team which is focused on rich research and analytics is a significant number. And we do that primarily with the philosophy that all our decisions around people and organization building need to be educated on data. Starts with the hiring, where
Ya guys, sampai sini aja videonya. Jangan lupa like dan subscribe ya. Jangan lupa komen ya. Sampai jumpa lain lagi. Bye bye.